Listen, man, when I say nobody will take care of your kids the way you will, this is another story. A dad put his daughter on the bus to go to KinderCare. KinderCare is supposed to take her to kindergarten. So some dumbass bus driver left a young 5-year-old girl on the bus for hours, left her on the bus in 14-degree weather. Let me let this rock.
A suburban father is furious tonight after his 5-year-old daughter was left aboard a daycare bus for hours in the freezing cold. The family's now demanding answers on how this could happen, and they're taking legal action. NBC5's Christian Farr talked to him.
Furious.
That's exactly how Mwiya felt when he found out that his 5-year-old daughter Dior was left on a frigid bus for more than 2 hours.
How can you lose a child? It's not a coach, it's not a jack, it's a whole human being.
At about 6 last Tuesday morning, Mwiya says he dropped off Dior at this KinderCare in Arlington Heights. And a couple of hours later, the daycare facility bused Dior and some other children to Forest View Elementary in nearby Mount Prospect so the 5-year-old could attend kindergarten. Nearly 10 hours later, Mwiya says he got a call from a KinderCare director.
She calls and tells me that I did not drop off my daughter at school that day, that morning, and I just lost it.
Mwiya says that was not true and quickly figured out that his daughter had been left on the bus that transported her from Forest View back to KinderCare for 2 to 3 hours in 14-degree weather. Dior was taken to the hospital and turned out to be okay. But Mwiya says her psychological scars still exist from that incident, which is part of the reason why he has filed a lawsuit against KinderCare.
Yeah, thank God he's suing them. You know, I'm always sensitive to stories like these because I have 2 kids who are young. They're a little older than 5, but they're still young. And, you know, it's like you expect people to do their job, teachers, bus drivers, anybody who is in care of children. It's not that difficult. If you are a bus driver, I would think you would check every seat before you parked the bus and got off the bus to leave your shift. You're supposed to check every seat. To leave a kid on the bus is just a stupid, unnecessary thing. On top of that, you're talking about cold. This whole week, the whole country's been cold. It's snowing in Florida. It's snowing in Texas. So they're in Illinois. So you know it's cold. And you're a bus driver. You don't even check the seats. I mean, let me let this play some more.
I don't know how she's doing, honestly. I don't know. I just know she's back at school, and I hope she's okay.
In an emailed statement, KinderCare said it does not comment on pending lawsuits. But on the day after Dior was discovered on the bus, the agency said it has strict safety protocols specific to bus safety that
Hold on. We have strict safety protocols. What is the protocol? You're supposed to check the bus. How do you leave the bus and leave a kid on the bus? You know what I'm saying? Y'all should just say we effed up. We effed up. Just admit it now. Now, you know, there was another story I did a video on recently about another situation where a bus driver picked up basically he dropped off the child. There's 2 incidents that happened with the same child. And the child, it was a girl, she was about 7 years old. One incident where the bus driver dropped her off 2 blocks from where she lives, a 7-year-old. Didn't drop her off at the right spot. And then another situation where she was in aftercare, after school care, and they put her in an Uber. They put this little girl in an Uber. This happened it wasn't in Arlington Heights. It might have been in Aurora or something. But they put her in an Uber, and she was put into an Uber, a 7-year-old girl, and her parents come to pick her up. They're like, yeah, you guys already picked her up. Or the mom calls the school and says, okay, her dad is going to be there to pick her up. Oh, her dad already picked her up. No, he didn't. So this is wild work. This is wild work. And to me, I'm not going to make it a racial thing, but this is the care of children at the end of the day, because I don't know the racial makeup. I'm not going to make it about race, but the care of children is just really elementary. You don't release kids to just anybody. You don't leave a kid on the bus. I mean, these are things that are just regular stuff.
It should have prevented this kind of situation. Unfortunately, those protocols were not followed.
After filing the lawsuit, we will be
investigating the claim, trying to figure out what really happened and how this happened.
While there is a dollar amount listed in the lawsuit, Dior's father and attorney say this is more than just about money. It's about warning parents and also getting justice for a 5-year-old girl.
100%. This dad better dial it up on them and get all the money he can. Dial it all the way up on KinderCare, because the kid, first of all, like I said, she's in 14-degree weather. It's cold. She's alone. I mean, she's only 5. She's alone. She don't really know what to do, and she could have, who knows? She could have possibly died. It's possible. 14 degrees is way below freezing weather. So she could have died. She's sitting on there for hours. So I hope he really put a dent in their pockets, man.
I just want everybody to know that that's what they did to me. So that's what I want. I want justice for Dior.
In Arlington Heights, Christian Farr, NBC5 News.
Thanks to Christian.
First of all, tell me, how is your daughter doing today? I think that's the first appropriate question. Just how is she doing now? She's back to school now?
Today, she's back at school. I don't know how she's doing, honestly. I don't know. I just know she's back at school, and I hope she's okay.
Okay. Tell me what that day was like how did you even find out what happened?
I was at work that day. It was on the 14th. Caitlynn, love of my life, she went to go pick up Dior about 5:45 p.m. that day. Upon going to pick her up, she called me, and she was told that my daughter wasn't there. I immediately was lost for emotions, and I was asking her, what do you mean she's not there? I dropped her off. She's like, babe, I'm telling you, they're telling me that she never came to school today.
Listen, and that's the type of thing that every parent, man, just hearing that, I mean, your heart will sink, man. It's not even an emotion that you ever want to go through, because just the thought of your kid being missing is terrifying when you dropped them off. So, man.
And I can hear her telling the director, you need to call the police. Call the police right now. We have a missing child. Somebody please call the police. And I could hear them refusing. I could hear her going door to door, looking and asking, where's Dior? Where's Dior? Where's Dior? As she goes down all the rooms. I tell her, I say, check the car, check outside, check the bus. And she's going outside to check the bus.
And look at Dad. Dad has the common sense that these other people didn't have to go and check the bus. Man, listen, man.
And at this time, as she's going to go check the bus, I hear her. And I get a call from the director from the facility. And she calls me. And I pick up the phone and I click over the line. And she's telling me, she calls and tells me that I did not drop off my daughter at school that day, that morning. And I just lost it. I just lost it there. I called the police myself. Unfortunately, I was in Elk Grove. So when they went to dispatch, or whenever it went to the command center, it wasn't part of their jurisdiction. So I had to immediately hang up the phone. I had to call my supervisor at home. I had to call my charge therapist at work and tell them that my daughter is missing and I have to leave. And so they said, okay, you need to go, you go. And so I leave. And as I'm heading to go to my daughter at KinderCare, I get a call from the fire department, okay, that they're en route, they're going there. At the same time, Caitlynn's calling me. I call and I pick her up. I can hear her getting off the bus at this time. She's found her. And at this point, Dior's pretty much not moving. She's almost lifeless. And I can hear her yelling, we need blankets. We need blankets. We need to warm her. We need to warm her. So
there it is. I mean, this 5-year-old girl almost died because some idiot who was driving the bus didn't check. I mean, the level of negligence right there, man. Like I said, I hope he really cleans their clock as far financially, but it just makes you angry because there's a lot of people who are dealing with kids who don't care. I mean, and I've had other situations where I've heard of things like that. I mean, my sister actually had a situation like that where my niece was left they didn't make sure she was on the bus. The teacher didn't make sure she was on the bus for aftercare. So aftercare calls my sister saying that my niece never showed up. And my sister, of course, had to panic, leave work, go to school, and find out that her daughter, my niece, was never put on the bus to go to aftercare, and she's still at school and in the classroom. It's like, it's really basic things, you know what I'm saying? And people do make mistakes, but there's mistakes when you're dealing with children. You can't make those mistakes. There's no room for those kind of mistakes, because children can be kidnapped, children can be missing, children can die, because someone who's 5 doesn't have the wherewithal to know where to go when she's on a bus by herself. If she's older, she's a teenager, she might say, okay, well, I'm on the bus by myself. I'm gonna get off. It's cold. I'm gonna go into a building. But a 5-year-old has the ability to walk, but doesn't have necessarily the wherewithal to understand, okay, I'm on the bus, someone forgot me. I'm just gonna stay where I'm at. And this really is makes me angry just, looking at this story, man. Let me let this play some more.
I just was flying as fast as I could to get where I needed to be. And I mean, you can imagine somebody calling you and telling you that you didn't drop off your kid. I mean, I don't even know how I got there. I don't even know. By the time I get there, everything just comes in and out. I just was on autopilot at that time. Everything just comes in and out. By the time I get there, Caitlynn and Dior are in the ambulance, and I'm just like, you guys need to go. The police department, the fire department was calling me to give consent to Caitlynn so she can take Dior to the emergency room at Southwest Community, where, Dr. Brown.
Marketing automation meets AI. ActiveCampaign combines an intelligent platform.
She's amazing. She took care of Dior. She's the one that got me in touch with DCFS and set the claim. The initial police officer didn't seem to want to help. If you really want to know how I feel about the situation, he was more interested in getting the story from the director. And I just needed somebody to talk to me because my daughter was in the ambulance, and I just didn't get that. We rushed to the hospital. I met them there. She was diagnosed as being hypothermic. We was there for hours, four hours at least minimum, them warming her. After warming her for 4 hours, then they took her temperature. She was hypothermic. So I wonder, what was her temperature initially? Because it was never taken. And it's just been really hard dealing with this. As your father, you put your kids in situations for success. You try to set them up. And as a father, I feel like I may have let her down by putting her in that situation. And there's no way that I can't take any fault from what has happened. And it hurt.
Nah, man, this is, it's none of his fault. This, like I said, this video, I just had to let this rock because, it's another situation where, again, like I said, people who are dealing with kids, it should be severe penalties, severe. And for me, I'm gonna tell you, man, it would be tough. It would be really tough for me. I would want to know who was the bus driver, who was driving the bus. That's what I need to know because, yeah, I mean, I'm like a lot of people. I would lose my shit over my kids. So, like I said, I hope he, really, really dials it up on them financially and really gets a lot of money for this because, it's a situation that didn't have to happen. Thank God, his daughter didn't die. And like I said, no one will take care of your kids the way you can. And we're adults. We got to make a living. We got to move around. We got to work. We got to do our business. Whatever it is we got to do. We can't always be there with our kids all the time. So we entrust them with people, teachers, bus drivers. We entrust them with those school mechanisms and systems to do common sense stuff to make sure I'm not releasing your child to someone who isn't their parent. I'm only releasing them to authorized people who pick them up. If they're on a bus, you hope the bus driver is going to make sure that all the kids that they transport are transported safely and to make sure they get off the bus. You just assume these things. You know what I'm saying? So to hear something like this, that's such a stupid a stupid mistake. I want to know who the bus driver is. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you guys heard any stories like this before. But, this is the second one I heard of in Illinois, my home state. And it really makes me mad to see this. But let me know what you guys think. Crucial Combo.